Hello, sixth graders. Hope you guys have had a beautiful week. Over the last couple of classes, we've been talking about what is God, and we've talked about what are angels. Today, I think it's time to talk about what is man. What does it mean to be a human? What are we? Are we animals? Are we like angels? Or what are we like? And that's a very good question, and it's an important one. Here's what a man or a woman, here's what a human is. Man is a creature. We're something that was made, right? And we're made of a body, right? Got a nose, and an ear, and some cheeks, and too much hair on my face. I'm made of a body, but I'm also made up of a soul and made to the image and likeness of God. That I mirror and you mirror God in some way. That you're made of the same kind of, well, not of the same stuff, but you're made to look an image like Him. Now, what part of us is in the likeness of God? Is it our eyes or our ears? No, no, it's not our body at all. Our body isn't the part of us that's made in the image of God. The likeness to God is chiefly in our soul, right? So we have three different parts to us. Just like God has three different parts, every human person has three different parts. And these three different parts are this. One, we have a soul, right? That's the part of us that's fundamentally us. The other part of us is we have a mind. We can think things. We have intelligence, right? We can know what a thing is. For example, if I look at a chair, even though I've never seen that chair before, I can tell you it's a chair. How do I know? How do I know that this thing's just like all of the other things that are chairs? That's because of my intellect, right? And the last part of me is my will, that I can make choices, right? And those choices are real choices. Like I get to actually choose things. And nobody can tell me what to choose. I could choose to do the good thing, or I could choose to do the bad thing. Now, I might get in trouble for choosing the bad thing, but nobody can stop me from making that choice. I bet maybe your parents, for example, might ask you to do something like to clean your room, right? But then you have a choice. Well, let's look at this. First of all, who are they asking to clean your room? You, right? Your body and soul. That's how I know where you are, as I see where your body is. So that's how I know where you are, right? And then you have your soul that's inside of you. That's who I'm asking to clean your room. And the second I tell you to clean your room, you immediately know what I'm telling you to do, right? Like you understand what I'm communicating to you. You don't think when I say go clean your room that I mean go climb a tree, right? You know what I mean. It's because you have an intellect. And then you have a choice. You can either go do the thing I've asked you to do, go clean your room, or you could choose not to. You have a choice, and every person has choice, right? It's part of who they are. And in a very real way, our choices are us. Like who we are, part of who we are is our choices. So I've got these three parts that make up a human. I've got my soul, my spirit, right? I've got my intellect, my mind, and I've got my choice, my free will. And these are the three things that make us up. In a very real way, it kind of mirrors the Trinity. Remember, God's three persons, right? And He has three different persons in one God. In the same way, what a person is has three parts, right? Our choices, our mind, and our soul. Now, how is the soul like God? Well, the soul is like God in that it's a spirit. The spirit has no body. It just always is. It has understanding and free will, and it's destined to live forever. Now, we're a little bit different because, not like God, we have a body. God gave us a body. And this is something really super important to understand, that our body is how our soul expresses itself. Think of it this way. If I wanted to tell you that I loved you, I could do that a few different ways. I could tell you with my words, I love you. I could give you a hug, and then you'd know I love you, right? I could write you a note. I love you. Do you notice something similar about all these things? I show you that I love you through the actions of my body. My body is the thing that shows what my soul is doing and thinking. So my soul is not something inside of me that just is hidden away, that can never express itself. No, my soul expresses itself every day through my body, right? This is pretty exciting because this means that everything I do with my body is an action of my soul, right? My spirit is doing everything that my body does. My body is just the means through which I express that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So if I do something evil with my body, like hit somebody that doesn't deserve to be hit, right? Then my soul has done something evil. And in a similar way, if I do a good thing with my body, like giving somebody a hug when they feel sad, then my soul has done a good thing. But it's my body that expresses it. So everything I do with my body, every action I take with my body is an action of my soul, right? It's how my soul expresses itself. It's how I express my mind. I do it through my body, right? If I have a thought, right, I have to be able to share that thought with you. I've got to use my mouth and use my tongue and talk to you. That's the only way you'll get it, or I'll have to write you a letter. I can't telepathy you with my mind. That doesn't work, right? I got to use my body. So my body and soul are in union, but my soul, but who I am has three parts: my soul, my spirit. They're the same thing, at least in this context. I have my soul, I have my mind, and I have my choice. Right? These are the three parts that make up me. Well, who are the first men and women? I bet maybe you know. Have you ever heard the story of Adam and Eve? I bet you have. If you have, I want you to pause for just a minute, and I'd like you to tell me what you know about that story. You might not know the whole story, or maybe you only know a little bit, but why don't you tell me what you know? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were born well, they weren't born, they were made, right? And they were made a long, long time ago. And being made a long, long time ago, they were made by God directly. Now, Adam and Eve were a little bit different than you or me, because you or me, we have moms and dads, and we're born. But Adam and Eve were made directly by God, right? Now, what was the chief gift? What were they really given? What was so special about these humans? Well, humans were given rational souls that can think and can have free will. And that means that that's the kind of soul that lives forever. Now, there are other kinds of souls that don't live forever, but human souls do. And that's something pretty darn special. So they were given a garden to live in. They were given great happiness. They were given knowledge. They were able to control their thoughts very well. They were given freedom. But something terrible happened. Adam and Eve, although they'd been given all of these wonderful gifts, decided that maybe there was something that God was holding out on them. Maybe God wasn't giving them everything that was good. And they decided they wanted to go find something else that was good, something else that they wanted. And to do this, they disobeyed God. God told them not to eat the fruit of a particular tree because it would give them knowledge of evil, know the difference between good and evil. They didn't have any evil. But then they ate the tree, they ate from the tree and took evil into themselves. And doing that, they lost all of the beauty and all of the blessings that God had planned for them. What a terrible thing. What a horrible moment. That they were perfectly happy, had everything that they wanted, and then they lost everything just because they stopped trusting God. On account of this, they lost sanctifying grace. They lost the right to go to heaven. They lost all their special gifts. Now they're subject to death, and they can suffer, and they have a strong inclination to do evil. And sadly, they were driven from that beautiful Garden of Eden, that garden of paradise. It's kind of a sad moment, but the hard part is that they've passed that down to their children, which is you and me. So we too, just like Adam and Eve, we have an inclination to do the wrong thing. We have an inclination to sin. What does it mean? What does inclination mean? It means this, that we really honestly think that things that aren't going to make us happy, that aren't going to make us feel fulfilled, that are not going to make us feel good, we really honestly think that they will make us happy. We've got something broken inside of us now. And it all goes back to that eating from the fruit of that tree, right? That disobeying God and not trusting Him. So now, for example, I honestly, truly think that if I win the lottery, I'm going to be happy because then I'll have all the money in the world. Even though I know up here it won't make me any happier, I certainly keep thinking I want to win the lottery. I really do think that I want a extra large super ice cream that's this tall. Even though I know up here that this much would make me just as happy. And I know that as I soon as start to eat that big ice cream, that if I get past this much, it's going to start tasting like cold paste. But I want the big one anyway because I think it's going to make me happy. And that's the problem. We are mistaken about the things that we think will make us happy. We think money might make us happy. We think popularity might make us happy. We think, as people get older, sometimes they think things like drugs will make them happy. Oh, it's very sad because none of them actually do. The only thing that actually makes us happy are the good things, the beautiful things, right? Like family and love and taking care of people. These are the things that really make us happy. Now, this sad thing is passed down to you and me. We call this thing that's passed down, we call this original sin. I know that's a weird kind of word, but we'll talk about sin soon enough. Sin is basically disobeying God. And this is the first time, the original time that it happened. And this original time is passed down from one father and one mother to their children. We can't get rid of it. We all, in our heart of hearts, seem to really want to do things that aren't going to make us happy, that aren't good for us. So what kind of punishments what happened because of this? What are the consequences of this? Well, they're the same consequences that you and I have, right? That we are going to die one day now. That we suffer. Have you ever suffered? Have you ever felt like you were sad or things just weren't the way they should be? That you suffered? That we're ignorant. That we don't know things. That we don't know the things that we really want to know. We have that strong inclination to sin. Now, you might make the mistake of thinking that God is punishing Adam and Eve for doing the wrong thing. This is not a punishment. This is a consequence. There's a difference, right? If I touch a hot stove, my hand is going to hurt as a consequence. I'm not getting punished for touching the hot stove. I have the consequence of that. And us knowing the difference between good and evil, us disobeying God, and we all do from very young, has natural consequences. Um, has there anybody been ever in history that didn't have sin, that didn't have original sin? Well, yes, actually, there were two people who have been born that have never sinned ever. The first one, of course, is Jesus himself, because Jesus was God. He never sinned. He was human like us in every way. He did all the things that we do, but he never sinned, not once. He never disobeyed God, not once. And there was one other person who had never sinned, and that was his mother, Mary. Mary, too, never sinned. She never did any of those bad things that you and I have a tendency to do. Now, sadly, that doesn't mean that they didn't have all of the some of the effects of sin, right? For example, one of the effects of sin is suffering. Well, both Jesus and Mary suffered greatly, but they still, even though they had that consequence of suffering because they were human, they never ever sinned themselves. Something very, very special. So, what is a human? A human is very simple. A human is a body soul union. I have a body, and you have a body, and I have a soul, and you have a soul, and you know that where my soul is because you can see my body, right? And you know that I'm here, and you'll know when I'm dead that I won't be here anymore. That my soul will be separate, and that will be you can tell. If you ever have seen a dead person, you know that they don't have their soul's gone. You can see it, right? But right now, my soul's right here, and you know what I look like. Yeah? I express myself through my body. My soul expresses itself through my body. My soul is not separated from my body. It's not like my body can go do whatever it wants and my soul can go do whatever it wants. They work together. Yeah? And then you know that what is my soul? Well, what's me? I am a trinity of things. I'm a soul, and I'm my mind. That's a part of what I am, right? And I'm my choices, the things that I choose to do. That's me too. They're all really me. You can't say, somebody else ate the cookie from the cookie jar, Mom. It wasn't me. Because my soul didn't want to. My body just did it on its own. No, 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 no. You did it, right? With your body. That was your soul doing an action. Yep. Okay. And then we also are remembering that we have original parents. That's Adam and Eve, right? And that God made them to live in the Garden of Eden to be happy forever, and that they disobeyed God. And that disobedience comes down to you and me, making us suffer, die, and worst of all, want to sin, want to do bad things. You know, mostly because we really think that's going to make us happy, which is a terrible mistake because it doesn't, right? And there you go. Now we have a good general idea of who we are. I do have one other just interesting tidbit that you might find interesting. What if there are aliens? What if there are creatures on other planets? Do they have souls? What's going on with that? Well, we don't know, right? There could be. That certainly could happen. And if they, like you and me, if they have an intellect and they have free will, they can make choices, right? And they have expressing themselves through a body, then they would be persons too. Not human persons like you and me, because that's our species. But if they have intellect and they have free will, they can make choices, and they are expressing themselves through a body, then they would be persons, right? How fun is that? Now, I don't know if there are or not. We'll just have to wait and see if they come and say hello. But until they do, we're the only persons that we know about. Angels are persons too, but they're persons without bodies, right? They share the same things we do. They have intellect and free will, but they don't have the body part. So I know we talked about them last week, but I just wanted to kind of show you the difference. I hope that you guys have a blessed week. I look forward to seeing you next week. May God bless you and watch over you, and have a great time at school.